Hey everyone, it's me and my dog, Percy. Percy, you wanna say hi? You wanna say hi, Percy? Oh, okay, he's tired. I'm tired too, but, so I haven't put anything up on this channel in a while. I don't even remember what the last video I did was, but just finished my finals 2 days ago as of recording this, and I thought, you know what, I'm probably driving all my friends absolutely insane with how much I won't shut up about all the video games and movies and shows and stuff that I'm obsessed with. So now that I'm gonna have a lot of free time this summer, I've decided that I'm gonna make Puggy Gamer reviews a consistent official series now. Today I am going to be reviewing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition for the Switch. This is a remaster of the Wii U game from 2015. I can't believe it's been 10 years now almost since the game came out. And all this here is just a temporary setup. I'm gonna move everything back into there in my game room. I just haven't fully moved back into my house yet. I know the lighting in here is bad, and also this first video is just gonna be me talking. I don't have any footage of the game. I didn't record anything because I was just playing it on my own time. But in future videos I'm gonna put either my own gameplay footage or just footage of like a trailer for the game or something over this, so you don't have to be staring at this thing the whole time. Now then, I do have this game for the Wii U also. I got it for my 12th birthday, and it was still fairly new at the time. It was less than a year old, at least here in the US it was. And I just remember thinking, oh, these are the games that the dude from Shulk, I can't talk, the guy Shulk from the Super Smash Bros. Game is from. These are his games. I remember watching all the trailers for this game on the Wii U eShop and seeing people on Miiverse talking about it back when that was a thing. And I thought it looked cool. I really wanted it. So a lot of people who know me know that the Xenoblade Chronicles series is really special to me. The first and third games are two of my absolute favorite games ever. And I really like the second game too, but not as much as the other two. Now, each game in the main trilogy has an epic, character-driven story, and characters that, well, I think they can vary in terms of how well written they are. I think most of them are at least memorable and have something to them, but yeah, this game, I can't really say the same about this game, and I'm gonna get into that, but first I'm gonna go over my history with this game. So, my parents were kind of strict back in the day when it came to what teen-rated video games I could play and what games I could have. I honestly feel like most people don't really look at this. They put these things on the box for a reason. This here, games have that for a reason. And like all these parents are complaining about how Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna poison their children. Maybe I don't know, maybe don't buy a game for your 6-year-old kid that's recommended for ages 17 and up. Just a thought. But okay, anyways, so I was excited to get my hands on this game. I had never played the first Xenoblade Chronicles game. This was actually my first one. The first one that I fully beat was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I did get the first game for the Wii as a Christmas gift the same year I got this game. And Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is, without a doubt in my mind, not just one of my favorite games of all time, but one of my favorite works of fiction, period. But that's a story for another day. I love that game to death, and I can't say the same about X. even after I put like a little more than 100 hours into the definitive edition, it's I still don't think that it's as good as the other ones. But let's get on with the review so I can explain why this is, to me, the weakest game in the series. And what I mean by that is it's like the least great. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's a great video game. I had a good time with it. I had fun with it. In fact, I'm still playing it now. Even I'm still doing a bunch of the post-game stuff, and I'm having fun. But if you ask me, it's not a great Xenoblade Chronicles game, and I'm gonna explain what I mean by that later. Now, I played the heck out of this on my Wii U back in the day, and I've got a lot of good memories with it. But I was just a kid, and the original version of the game doesn't really teach you how to play the game, so I was terrible at it. I was so bad at this game, and I never fully finished the story. I could never get past the final boss. I'm pretty sure that I think you had to go into the digital menu, like press the home menu button and then go into the manual from there and read all this stuff about how the combat works and everything, but I was 12, so I didn't want to do that. And one thing that I absolutely love about this remaster is that it actually shows you how the combat works. It shows you how to play the game. The interface was completely updated. It's so much more sleek and straightforward this time, and I think that it makes the game a lot more approachable. In fact, I think that you could probably start with this game if you want to get into the series, because without spoiling anything, this game doesn't really have any major connections to the other games in terms of plot or story, so there's not really anything that you're not going to understand or be confused by. Maybe a few references here and there, and mostly in the new story content might not make sense to you, but overall I'd say you can definitely start with this one and then play the other three if you like this one. So, let's start with the gameplay. I'm going to talk about the gameplay first because it's absolutely what I enjoy the most about this game. This is the only game in the series where I actually enjoy the gameplay a whole lot more than the story. Whereas with the other games, except for maybe two, I liked the gameplay and story equally. So at the start of this game, you make your own avatar character. A lot of people refer to the avatar as Cross, I'm guessing because of the X in the name of the game. And I'm pretty sure that the avatar doesn't have an official name, so everybody just uses the name Cross. And as Cross, you have a lot of freedom on how you can customize your look and your gameplay setup, and you can learn every character class in the game as the avatar, which is basically character's fighting style that determines what weapons they can use and what their stats are, what skills they can equip. And the thing with your character is that you can learn every single class in the game, and every other character just has one class that they're stuck with the whole time. You can't up the rank for their classes, but basically when you reach it's kind of hard to explain without footage, but when you reach the top rank of a class at the end of a branch on the screen, you'll know what I'm talking about if you play the game, but you can pretty much use that class's weapons and skills with any other class, and I pretty much used the longsword weapon for pretty much the whole time, and I actually made a pretty broken character. And so like all the Xenoblade games, this game has a real-time combat system, and the characters do basic attacks automatically without you having to do anything, but you have these special attacks and abilities called arts, and you're going to need to use those if you want to really do some damage to enemies, and if you want to do things like give yourself buffs and heal yourself and your allies and that sort of thing. Boosting attack power, it's pretty standard RPG mechanics. And I think this game's combat's fun overall, but I don't think it's as interesting as the other game's combat. It's not as deep. I don't think there's a whole lot to it once you kind of start getting into the rhythm of things. And I still like it, but I think it gets kind of repetitive after a while, more so than the other games. And sure, you can still kind of mix things up and change your class and use whatever weapons you want if you level everything up, but yeah, I still got kind of bored with it at times. And there's also, you can use augments in your armor and weapons, which are basically like the gems from the first and third game, and these give your characters like buffs and stat boosts and that sort of thing. And I remember playing this on the Wii U. I actually never even knew how to do that. I don't think that I ever equipped a single augment for any of my characters. I didn't know how. I didn't know what they did, but yeah, so there's definitely some ways you can spice things up if you start to get bored, but I still, every once in a while, get kind of bored and it gets kind of stale for me, but maybe that's on me because I just use the longsword weapon pretty much the whole time. And so the other games in the series have what's called the chain attack. It's a little bit different throughout each game, but basically the character you're controlling and all of your other party members will like take turns attacking an enemy, and if you do things right, you can do just insane amounts of damage to really strong enemies, or you can heal everybody if you're low on health. And this game, X, does not have a chain attack system. Instead, without spoiling anything, after you get far enough in the story, you unlock this ability called Overdrive, which it basically makes all your arts a lot stronger, and I had no idea how to really use it back in the day playing it on Wii U, but now I know that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to basically chain arts together, like use like arts that are melee attacks. You use like 3 of those in a row and it'll give you like a experience point boost and stuff like that, or you can use a healing art and mix it with a debuff art and it gives you these effects. So there's a lot more to it than I initially realized, and the Switch version actually tells you about this in the menu, and there's a little guide that pops up when you're in overdrive, so you can actually kind of figure out how to use it and play the game. And if you do it right, it does ridiculous amounts of damage to enemies in this game. Like, it honestly made me feel like I was breaking the whole game at times because of just how insanely powerful you can be when you're using it. And I think the chain attacks are more fun to use, especially in the third game, which I think that the third game definitely has my favorite combat by far. But yeah, I still think the overdrive is pretty satisfying to use once you know how to really pull it off and take advantage of it. And so in this game, your main objective, you're on this planet called Mira, and you're supposed to explore and survey all of the different continents, and you go around killing all these aliens and enemies. There's these special enemies called tyrants, which are the equivalent of the unique monsters in the other games. Some of them are ginormous, like 10, 20 times larger than your character, and it's crazy. Some of them used to actually scare me when I was a kid, like, because of how big they were. You'd just be exploring and then this humongous monster would just pop up out of nowhere. But yeah, they will absolutely wreck you if you don't know what you're doing, even if you're at the same level as them. And thankfully, with the Switch version, I actually learned how to use the combat correctly and take advantage of it and actually kill some more of these guys. And this isn't spoiling anything. I mean, you get this mech called a skill. It's on the cover of the game. It's in all the marketing. I'm not spoiling anything. But yeah, you get to use these skills, and when you're using those, you can take out, or excuse me, it makes it a lot easier to take out the really big enemies. And later on, you can even fly around on the skills, which I think is always fun to do. And after I finish the story, or the main story, and the new story content, in the definitive edition, I unlocked the Ares 90 skill, which is, this thing is so ridiculously overpowered. It lets you can kill stuff that's like 20, even 30 levels higher than you are. Like, you can kill stuff when if you're at level 60, you can kill stuff that's like level 80 or level 90. And it makes sense because in the original on the Wii U, the highest level you could get to was 60. So, I mean, if they're gonna have all these like super boss enemies that are like 30 levels higher than the max you can even get to, then it makes sense that there's sort of an easy way to kill those enemies. But in the definitive edition, the level cap went up to 99. So you can level up a lot more in this version than you could on the Wii U. And this isn't spoiling anything, but the final boss that you fight at the end of the new story content is level 60, so you don't have to, max out everything to be able to beat the game. If anything, you probably shouldn't, because you're, without giving anything away, you're kind of stuck in a certain area towards the end, and all of the enemies are kind of the same level, so you won't be able to really do a whole lot if you're at a super high level. But anyways, the thing is, this game it was made to where the highest level you could get was 60, so there aren't really many common enemies that are higher than 60. Most of the higher leveled enemies are like super bosses and tyrants, and so it's kind of hard to level up quickly once you get past 60. I mean, I've played the game for probably maybe around like 25, 30-ish hours after I finished all the new story content, and I still haven't really leveled up a whole lot since then. And I normally don't care much about graphics in games, or not even graphics, but I guess for this game it's just the art direction. I know I don't really have any footage to show you, but yeah, take my word for it, this game is absolutely gorgeous. I think every game in the series really just has, great art design. It's got all of them have great looking environments, but like, this game is massive. Like, the sheer scale of this game, I think it's still really impressive. I mean, it looks good on the Wii U, but it looks a bit better on the Switch, especially with the character models got upgraded a lot. They used to be, I thought they looked kind of ugly in the Wii U version. I don't know if they were trying to go for like a more realistic look or what. I think this game's probably, even the definitive edition, I cannot talk right. The definitive edition is still probably the most, I guess, realistic Xenoblade game in terms of its art style. It's still kind of got that anime look to it, but Yeah, it looks better on Switch, the resolution's higher. I just think that the guys at Monolith Soft are, like, those guys are just absolute freaking tech wizards. Like, the fact that they're able to get their games to look as good as they do on the Switch is just, like, that's crazy to me. And it usually runs pretty well. It's usually pretty stable, but I've definitely noticed some lag and slowdown from time to time, especially when you're in the skill. I've heard that there's actually I think some data miners found that there actually is an option for the game to run at 60 frames per second, like in the game's code. So maybe on the Switch too it'll run better, or they'll put out like an upgraded version. I hope it's not going to be $80 like everything else is, but yeah, the performance, it's fine, but you're definitely going to notice some slowdown every once in a while, but it's not really going to ruin anything. Just figured I'd mention it. And now I want to talk about the music. I think that every Xenoblade Chronicles game, including this one, has an incredible soundtrack. The first game's soundtrack is probably my favorite video game soundtrack ever. Like, there's so much just variety in the type of music there is, and it can be like upbeat and energetic and ambient, somber. Like, I think all of the music just captures everything in that game really well. I never get sick of any of it. Like, I don't think there's a single bad music track in that game. And from what I know, this game's soundtrack was composed by I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Hiroyuki Sawano, who I've heard he composed the music for the Attack on Titan series, which I don't really watch anime at all. I just barely. Maybe I've watched I watched the Cyberpunk show on Netflix. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But anyways, I've heard good things about that show and its music, and I think that for the most part, this game's music is great. But there's some tracks that I just can't stand listening to. The NLA city, the main, not I was about to say hub world. It's not a hub world. It's the city area of the game. It's the daytime theme that plays there, I think, is just awful. It has to be the worst music in the whole game. I hate it. I kind of get used to it. I mean, I don't like it, but I kind of put up with it. The more I play the game, I get used to it. But it has these weird, like, vocals. I don't know what they were trying to do. It's like they were trying to mix, like, hip-hop into it or something. I'm not going to play the music, obviously. I don't want to get a copyright strike, and I don't want to listen to it anyways, so I'm not going to even attempt to get it into this video. But it just has these really weird vocals I don't think fit with the music at all. It doesn't fit with the game at all, and it's not good. It just kind of ruins the whole thing. But whenever I'm in the city, I usually change the time of day to night just so I don't have to listen to the music. The nighttime theme is, it's not good, but it's got this like weird voice doing these weird noises in the background, but at least it's not painful to listen to like the daytime theme. And the main battle theme, I think, is crap. It's got these like weird rap moments in it, and I can't even understand what the guy's saying, because it's probably somebody who speaks Japanese and not English. doing it, so it makes sense. It'd be hard to understand, but even if I could understand it, it's just not good. And I know music's a really subjective thing, but from what I can tell, a lot of people are, at least like those music tracks I've mentioned, most people are pretty much in agreement that they're bad. But now I'm going to talk about the music I do like in the game. I think that my favorite music tracks in this game would have to be Theme X, which is like the main theme of the game. I think it's really good. I think in 2015 it actually got nominated for like the best main theme in a game that year, and there were a lot of great games that year. But yeah, I think that's a really good music track. The Noctilim Day and Night themes I think are really good. I really like the Silverlim Night theme, and there's a new area. It's in the trailers. This isn't spoiling anything. There's a new area that you explore in the new story content, and there's a new battle theme that I think actually sounds really good. I actually don't mind fighting stuff because the music is pretty good. There's no vocals in it at all, which I think makes it a lot better than the other vocal tracks that I don't think are good. But there are some vocal tracks in this game I think are pretty good. I think the final boss theme that plays, especially the remix that played at the end of the new story content, I think is really good. And I know it doesn't technically originate from this game, but I think it's called Melancholia, that the music track. In the Wii U version, it played during the squad select mode, like the online mode, that it would start up the game, it would play that in the menu. It doesn't do that in the Switch version. I'm still pretty upset that it doesn't play there, but I know it plays like a shortened version in some of the cutscenes or whatever, but you can't hear any of it because of the characters talking, all the dialogue over it. I think the Skell flying theme is pretty good in the definitive edition. They did a remix of it. They added actual instruments to it. It's not just a, what even was it in the original? I guess like a synth thing. I don't know. But I like the remix in the Switch version. So overall, I think it's a pretty good soundtrack. I enjoy it, but it has a few really low lows, if you ask me. I certainly enjoy the gameplay, and for the most part I enjoy the soundtrack, but what brings the game down for me is the story. Like, I'm sorry, but I just don't find the story in this game interesting. In the other games, the stories are mostly about the characters. Like, you've got Shulk, Rex, and no other, the main protagonists in the other three games, and in those games you see them like go through a lot of things and actually grow and change, and they have character development. They're not just static throughout the whole entire game. But yeah, like those games, it's not just about the stuff that's happening, like the events taking place. It's about the characters and how they process it all and react to it. This game's story, it's not like that at all. So you make, like I mentioned earlier, you make you an avatar cross in this game, but the avatar is more of a point of view character. Cross doesn't even have any. There's not even any voice acting during the cutscenes. It's only during gameplay, and there's really no character development at all. I mean, I get that it's an avatar character. It's supposed to kind of represent the player, but I still thought it was pretty underwhelming. You don't really get much character development there. I guess the main character of the story is probably Elma, but I don't really think that anybody in the main game story, except for just one character, I'm not going to spoil who it is, but there's one character that I think definitely had a character arc. But yeah, other than that, I don't think anybody really changes much. I think most of the characters are pretty forgettable and generic. Although I will say, I think that the game's voice acting is pretty good. I don't really have any complaints there. I think the voice actors all did well with what they were given, even if I don't think the characters are interesting. But Tatsu, the no-pawn companion in this game, I could not stand him. I thought he was annoying. No, I used to think he was funny because I was just an idiot 12-year-old kid. But now that I'm an adult, I think that his voice is extremely irritating. I can't stand it when he talks. I just want Tatsu to shut up. I don't mean any disrespect to the voice actor. I get he was just doing his job, but like I like there's a few characters in these games that I wish I could just like reach through my screen and strangle them to shut them up. They're all no-pawn, which doesn't surprise me. And Tatsu's probably at the top of that list, but anyways, just to so you get like the general gist of the story. The Earth gets, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but the Earth gets destroyed by this like alien battle that's happening, and all the humans get on this ship and fly to this planet called Mira, and there you have to stop these aliens called the Ganglion that want to kill all the humans. And I just think it's pretty generic. It's not memorable. I barely remember any of the villains' names in this game at all. Yeah, there's some like plot twists and stuff here and there, but I honestly never really cared much about it. I didn't care about these characters. I didn't care about what was going to happen to them or what they did or went through. I didn't care about their backstories. I just thought that, yeah, I couldn't even tell you why. I just thought that pretty much all the characters in this game were just so boring. Like, I don't think that this story even compares to the other Xenoblade Chronicles games at all. And I've played lots of other RPGs like that I thought had much better stories, much better characters. Games like Final Fantasy VII, Cyberpunk, like Knights of the Old Republic, even Fallout 3. I know a lot of people don't like the story in that game, but I thought it was interesting. I was intrigued, at least. I mean, maybe it wasn't like a incredible story, but I was at least not bored out of my mind when I was going through it. And I wish I could say that the new story content in the definitive edition was better, but I don't really think it is. It felt like it was kind of tacked on and rushed at some points. It definitely has some moments I liked, but overall I wouldn't call it an improvement over the base game story. But at least it doesn't have a cliffhanger ending. It has like a very clear, like, it's done, like the story's done for now. And I will say though that the character you unlock in the new story content, I'm not going to spoil who it is, but I thought he was by far the most interesting character in the game. He was easily my favorite. I thought he had a interesting personality, and I actually wanted to learn more about him, but the game doesn't really tell us a whole lot about him. And the new story content's probably like, I want to say it'll take you maybe like 10, maybe 15 hours to finish the new content. I don't remember how long it took me exactly, but yeah, part of me wishes that the whole game had been about him, because I actually thought he was interesting, except for that stupid joke he kept saying over and over again. It wasn't funny. But I've been talking for half an hour now, and that's about all I got. I'm gonna give this game an 8 out of 10 score. It's still a good game. It's got great music, but the story is just, for me, it's just such a letdown. Like, especially considering that it's got Xenoblade Chronicles in its title. Like, if we're just talking story, I don't think that the game is worthy of that name. Like, but, yeah, so I'm gonna do more videos like these, hopefully. Not nearly this long, but, yeah, maybe once a week, every 2 weeks, I don't know. And I'm gonna be reviewing movies and stuff, maybe some shows, I don't know, but it's mostly gonna be games that I'll be finishing over the summer. And, I'm actually gonna put some footage over me talking, but there wasn't really much I could do with this because I didn't record any of my own footage for the game, and it's late, I'm tired, I don't want to go and record a trailer. I'm just gonna edit this later, but whatever, that's it for the review. I actually wrote a script for this time, and I didn't think that it was gonna take me half an hour to read through it all, but hopefully it didn't sound like I was just mindlessly rambling this time. But anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good night. Bye.